everybody, this is Mary White from MW4 Designs, and I'm here tonight to talk about reviewing CSS Hero, a WordPress plugin. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to go over my 5-step review of CSS Hero. I am going to review CSS Hero's website and uploading of the plugin to my locally hosted WordPress website. Second, after it is active, I will look at my dashboard and menus to see what it adds to my WordPress website. I'm going to just tell you right now, it does add a tab at the top application toolbar. So that's perfect. Third, I'm going to review the user interface quick to see if I can understand what each of the tools can do. Fourth, I'm going to try and change the body font, the background of the body and the sidebar, and change the text color. We're going to get started with that in a little bit, but I'm going to tell you my rating of this plugin out of 5. So that's the 5th thing I'm going to do. I gave it a 4.8 out of 5. The first reason is I'm going to go over the pros. I really think it is a great value for the price, because if you have to hire somebody to modify your CSS code, it's usually around $35 to $60 an hour or more. Definitely worth the price. Second, I was able to do those 3 steps in approximately 30 minutes or less. I will just give you a little disclaimer here. I did read a little bit of the documentation and I watched one of their 2-minute videos, but I did not do a whole lot of research on this plugin. Then another pro is that it says it will work with every WordPress theme. I cannot verify that, but I think that is a great selling point for me. The last pro that I have out there is it is a great front end styling tool. It is a what you see is what you get tool, and that is amazing. You're able to see your changes immediately. The 2 cons that I had is that I had some trial and error in trying to use it. And another disclaimer here, I did not read all the documentation. I do recommend you go and read all the documentation. Okay, the last thing is the con is if you don't know a little bit about the page setup, you are probably going to make mistakes and change a lot of little selectors or selections where there might be a global selection or selector that you could select that would go across the whole page. But those are just a few of the things that I saw. Definitely read the documentation, go over it. Like I said, I give it a 4.8 out of 5. I definitely think it is worth the money. And I do recommend, it is in beta right now. Test it on a locally hosted environment or a staging environment first to make sure that you make the changes you want and don't accidentally do something you don't. A quick review of CSS Hero. So this is CSS Hero's website that I'm at right now, and it is a plugin that you can get for anything, it says. It does say that it's beta, so definitely has been tested, and it looks to be a nice user interface just from what I'm looking at right now. But I'm going to show you with a locally hosted environment that I have. I'm using desktop server. I'll put the link to my affiliation with desktop server down here because locally hosted means it's just on my computer. But definitely, if you're interested in getting desktop server, go down into my description and get that information. I'll be doing a review on desktop server and explaining what it actually does for you later. But let's go ahead and review this plugin. You will download it or purchase it from here. The pricing here, get it now, I guess that's where I'm going to find the pricing. So if I click that, it shows that they are having a sale. I have noticed that they've had some pretty good sales lately. We're going to download it. You get a zip file, so anything that you are getting outside of WordPress that's not already as part of WordPress plugins, where you can just find a plugin here that is part of the repository, and you're going to add something and upload it, it needs to be in a zip file. So we're going to add new, and then we're going to upload a plugin instead of finding one that's already in the repository here. CSS Hero is not in the WordPress repository. We're going to upload the plugin. We're going to choose our file from the desktop. So CSS Hero has to be in a zip file, so I'm going to just grab that folder and open it. It will look like this. You have to do the install now, and just like any plugin that you install, once you install it, just because you install it until you activate it, it really doesn't do anything. So if I go and look at all of my plugins now, it's installed, but it's not active. So let's go look at all of my plugins, and all of these plugins are out here, but none of them are active. It's version 3, beta 9.7 is what I'm reviewing, and I'm going to go ahead and activate it. Once I activate it, look at right up here. It puts something up in my toolbar, my application toolbar right here across the top. It's not in my dashboard. Now, some plugins will put something in this left dashboard over here for you to work with. This actually is putting it at the top. This will help me edit pages and posts. I am using, let's look at what theme I'm using right now. I'm on 2015. So the things that I want to do, and this is something that you might do, is you might have a theme that you just loved and you've got your website almost all done, but now you want to change fonts, or you want to change the colors on the fonts or something like that, and your theme doesn't have that availability to do it. So you can purchase CSS Hero and it will allow you to make these changes. They do have the availability to make the changes on all themes. I definitely recommend anything you do with something like this, bring it locally hosted or to a staging environment first, test it out first, and then push it to live. Do not do this kind of thing on a live environment. You may not like some of the things that happen. We're going to do this. This is locally hosted, like I said. I am going to go ahead and play with the 2015 theme. You know what we'll do? We'll just create a page real quick, and I'll just put some more Mipson in there. So let's add a new page. Okay, so I have a page here that I am creating. I haven't quite published it yet, but we're going to play with CSS Hero and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this page. We're going to look at it on what people would see in a browser. And so this is what it looks like. It doesn't really have much flair. Let's see if we can style it, change some background colors here, maybe change some of our sidebar things going on here. What I'd like to do first with CSS Hero is see if I can change some fonts, and I'd like to change some colors. So I'd like to change the fonts across the whole page. I'd like to change the color on some of the fonts, maybe my H2s and H3s, and just see what else I can do just real quickly. Some basic changes, maybe across the whole page, maybe even change this background or this background right here that we have on these two. So I've got a couple things I want to do to see if I can style it, because when I come over here to the customizer, well, we do have the background color that we can change and the sidebar text and color. So we do have the option to do that, but we'll see if we can do a little bit more. So not a lot that I can really do. So it doesn't really have fonts that I can change. This will be a really good test to see what we can do here. I'm looking at it now, and this is what it would look like in a browser. You're still here at the top, so you can go back to the dashboard if you need to, or you can actually use the CSS Hero from here, it looks like. So let's go ahead and try that. When I come in here, first thing I look at, I don't see anything here, so I'm kind of like, well, can I really do anything? It looks like I should be able to select something. It comes across here and tells me what version of CSS Hero it is. It allows me to detach the CSS Hero, so this is where all the information is going to be. It has a visual editor. If I click on that, it doesn't seem to do anything. Inspector, Okay, so it looks like it lets me inspect the code. Come around here and inspect the code. If I click on something, does it do anything? Well, it gives me what the selector is. So the selector is what is styling this right now. So it lets me click on that. If I come here and do the select mode, so let's go ahead and just grab the whole page. So main, so we got that, and then we've got navigate. So that actually brought up the code. I don't really want to be doing the code because I'm trying to show you that this is easier. So let's use this selection here and grab the main. Okay, that worked. Just a little hunting around. We're just going to go across the toolbar and see what else we've got here. We've got the undo and redo. We've got a history. So this tells me all the things that I've done. Variables, so we can actually look at that and see what we can actually add some variables. We'll have to probably go and read some more about what we can really do. Font manager, documentation. Oh, that's great to know that the documentation is right there. So let's click on that, see what we got with documentation. This is really nice. They gave us some real good documentation that we can go through. So definitely go through and read some of that documentation. This first walkthrough video, colors, variables, definitely worth looking at. So let's take some time to look at that. Let's see what else we've got. Show bottom nav is turned off. So if I turn it on, it gives me click an element, please. So if I click this element, oh, it gives me like a status bar. So where I am. So I can go back to the site body, it looks like, and start styling from there. Or I can click here. So this is really nice. So it lets me go back up one level, the parent level. This is the child. So that's pretty cool. I can go back up there. That's nice. Selectors. This shows the selectors. So this looks almost like a DOM panel, document object model, showing the parent-children relationships. So that's pretty cool. And then reset theme edits. Nice. So if you start editing things, you can throw them away. So that's a nice little toolbar there. And then right over here is the quit button. So that's how you get out of there. So let's go ahead and turn some of these things off. I don't really want that sitting on top of my page. What I do want to do is I said I wanted to change the font across the whole page. So right now we have a serif font, so it has some ornamentation, except for the sidebar. The sidebar looks like it has some sans serif for the title. So let's just change everything to a different font. So we're at the site body right now. So we are at the body level. We're going to go ahead and look for typography. And I'm going to look for a font that is going to really look like we're making a big difference. So I'm going to play with impact. Ooh, look at there. We changed everything to impact except for these headers that are on the sidebar. So that really this works nice. I can change that. I'm going to go to Arial and Helvetica. So I stripped out that serif and serif font and put in a sans serif font, no ornamentation. It gives me a nice list of fonts here. It also, I think when I came over here, when I went to the font manager, you can go to Google Fonts and you can find a font that you want to add. So you could look for a font. There are a lot of fonts out here that we can look at. Ooh, yeah. So update and close for those. So now if I look here, I'm at site titles, okay, and that's what I'm going to change the font. And let's go to typography and let's see if we can find that one font that I just, oh, there it is, that Google font. Oh, it opened up all the Google fonts. Nice. Okay, so there I can change those. it changes just that one there. So I'm not changing them across the whole. It was just this masthead one. So I'm going to grab this one and we'll see if we can change more than just a single font. Looks like we're just changing the single ones. Let's go here. Oh, okay, so that changed the H2s. So these must be the H1s. This was the masthead H1, and then this is this other H1. So as you find the different places that you need to change it, you might have to go through and change it multiple places. But also, I would recommend following up with the videos because that definitely is going to help you understand changing this information. Okay, so we changed the fonts. Great, we did it across the whole website or the web page. So we changed the fonts and we changed them across the whole web page. So the next thing I wanted to try is to see if I'm going to go back to the site body, if I can change, let's see, we'll see if we can change the background color of this. And this is the sidebar. So I want to just click on that, see if I can get that to inspect that. So I'm in the selection tool of site body. I'm trying to get just the sidebar there. As you can see as I'm hovering over stuff, okay, it gave me the sidebar there. So this is the masthead and this is the sidebar. So I'm going to grab that and let's change the background color. I'm going to make it a really change it to a crazy color. These colors are the colors that came with the page. Here's some colors. Let's see. These are flat colors. If you want to go and have a color picker or type in a hexadecimal or RGB or HLA number, those are all available here. So hue, saturation. So let's grab a pink so that we can really see a change. I'm going to add a custom color. I'm going to select it. I guess that's pretty close to the one that was already there. And boom, it made the change for us. That's pretty cool. So let's go here. You can see that there are two elements there. So that's the main content area. Let's see if we can change the background to that. And I'm going to go and use the same. And that's nice. It kept my custom color there so I don't have to find it again. And I thought I'd change that. Let me try it again. Okay, well, I've tried it a couple times and I'm not having any luck on changing that background color. So let's see if, oh, okay, so that changed it. So now if I come here and select that and say okay, that is really interesting. I double click on this, it brings me up to this. That's not what I wanted, but if I come to the color picker, this is the color that I was looking for. Let's change it to this pink. And say okay. Okay, so that worked. So it just was having trouble with the color that I picked. I'm trying to select this color, so I'm going to come back here, look at the background here, and see what color that is. So this is the actual hexadecimal number, so I can copy that. Come back to here, do the background color. I know I want it to be the same color, and I can paste it. Control V. Oh, there, it works perfect now. So we're able to change our colors and the backgrounds. We're able to change our fonts. So right there, those are two things that this theme did not allow me to do that I'm able to do with CSS Hero. So far, I'm, having a little bit of trouble just learning it, but that's with any tool that you are learning for the first time. It's going to take a little bit of playing with it to find out if you like it or not. So far, I'm pretty happy with it. things that I wasn't able to do before, I'm able to do now. I can come here to the entries now. I'm going to come here. And so the entry content, I'm going to look at the typography. And so that's Arial and Helvetica. So I'm going to make sure that I keep it that. But maybe I'll try this cabin or just try some other fonts and see which one that I like. I actually like that cabin. That's kind of a fun little font. I'm going to go ahead and save and publish this. I'm going to come over here to this header and we're going to make this a yellowish background. Let's come here and select a yellow or an orange. Let's pick something that's going to stand out. Maybe even a green. We'll really be able to add that and it'll stand out. Okay, so that's there. I don't know what I'm doing here because I see the color there. I see the color here. If I choose it, okay, so that is what I'm selecting. So I'm using the selector. I'm selecting that. I'm coming here to the background. Yeah, this background doesn't want to change. That's interesting. So that's the site body background, so it's actually going one level below, but I want to do this masthead. So let's see if I can get that. So it says masthead here. Let's try the background now. Okay, so that just does that part there. It doesn't actually fill the whole area. So if I come here, it goes back to the body. And if I do a background color there and choose, so certain things just aren't letting me change, even though it looks like maybe that masthead has a margin on it. So let's go look at that. Let's look at the masthead real quick. Let's look at the margin. It sure does. It has a margin. Does it have padding? Definitely. So it has padding on the right and the left. Maybe we can stretch that padding on the top and bottom and see what happens here. Ooh, it moves it up and down, but it doesn't. Let's go back. I'm going to go back to the margin. So the margin is on the top and bottom. So if I bring that and make it a little smaller, ooh, and then I can make my padding bigger. So if I bring this just a little closer, not that close, but let's make it just 2 pixels. So it's right there to the edge. And I'm going to make that 2 pixels just so that I can see that I have some margin going on here. So get that masthead selected, margin again, margin top. I'm going to set that to, we'll keep it at 1. That's perfect. I just wanted to have a little bit of work there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my padding here so that I get that green around everything. So I think it had about 60 pixels on the top and about 60 pixels on the bottom. So it just moves that around. That's kind of nice. Okay, like I said, this is pretty cool. I think I accomplished the things that I wanted to. I wanted to see if I could change the font, and I was able to change the font. And I was also able to change the background and background colors. The next thing I'm going to do, just real quickly here, is see if I can change the font colors. So let's see what we got going on here for typography. They're all black. Let's make them green. Okay. So here we have our colors. I can actually pick that. Look at that. We made all the colors green for the typography. Pretty slick there, people. I'm going to see what I can do here with my headers. I wonder if I can select multiple things. And no. Okay, so one at a time. I can make those green also. Maybe make those blue. So honestly, not what you want to do is just go change things without having a plan. I recommend you always have a plan before you make changes, but without having a plan, it really does do the styling that you might not be able to do otherwise. So go play with it, have some fun with it. I think you might be surprised how much you can really do with this. Websites that you host or WordPress.com websites that are more the premium ones, the business ones where you can add plugins. Because with WordPress.com free, you are not allowed to add plugins. These little triangles open and close everything, so that's kind of nice. There's some things that I like I said, it has a nice set of information out here to watch videos, troubleshooting and support, reading information. So I definitely recommend you come out to the CSS Hero, read some of the information, have a plan before you go in and make real life changes. But if you want to play with it, definitely look into using desktop server or WAMP or MAMP, the locally hosted environments, so that you don't change a live environment and you're sad when the changes aren't really what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and save and publish. To go back and close this. So when I came across the toolbar here, the quit is right there. And this is what my page looks like. Now I'm going to go look and see if my other pages look the same way. I need to find my other pages. So let's go to my dashboard and see where my other pages are. All pages. So I have two pages. I have the review and sample pages. I'm going to go appearance, menus, and I need to create a menu. So I'm going to do nav. I'm going to create it. I'm going to make it my primary. And put both of these in there. Add to the menu. And I'm going to save. Let's go look at it now. So I have two pages. And let's see if we went to the review page initially. And let's see if it carried across to the sample page. And it sure does. All of our changes reflect on the different pages that we created. So this is nice. It carries across everything. It's not like I have to go back and try to figure it out. Like I said, it's bright and colorful. It's probably not a good plan, but it is a good way to test this out and see what you're doing is really working. So like I said, go play with CSS Hero. The link will be in my description. Definitely worth the price. Thank you all for coming. The next thing I'll talk about is desktop server.